Good morning, my dear friends. See now, we shall, in sense now, we have seen how to find out the stresses in our PSC section by various problems. Okay. Now, in the same chapter, okay, I would like to cover one small bit, okay, which is called pressure line or thrust line or C line. In sense, many times it may be asked for the short notes and all. Okay. So, what exactly this is, we'll try to see now. See now, pressure line, it's called pressure line or thrust line or C line. See now, basically, in sense now in some of the classes I was talking to you. Okay, the thing is now, suppose now assume that it is the beam. Okay, at some cross section I have cut it now. I have shown only half of the beam. Say for example now, this is your cable. Okay, you applied some pre-stress to it, and at this cross section the F force is now acting here now. F force is now acting here, in sense the pre-stressing force F is acting at the CGS. Am I right now? So now, when there is no, in sense now, also we have seen that F force and C force, they are equal. Am I right now? F force and C, in sense, F force is the pre-stressing tensile force in steel, and whenever I anchor it, okay, the C force will act exactly here now. Okay, this is your C force. Am I right now? Okay, so in a sense, with whatever 1000 kilonewton, if I apply the tension into the steel cable, okay, with the same force it will apply the compressive force in the concrete. So F will be exactly equal to C. This is what we have seen in the earlier discussions also now. Okay, so now what happens is now, now when there is no load at all on the beam, okay, your F force and C force, they coincide. They coincide. There is no lever arm between them. Okay. Suppose now, suppose if I apply a small live load on the beam, small load on the beam. Okay. Now to resist this load, or to resist this bending moment, see now, to instance of this load is going to create some bending moment at this cross section. Am I right now? So to resist this bending moment M, now what happens is now this C force starts shifting up. Okay, it will start shifting up and it will act here now. Your C force is now acting here. Okay, I developing a lever arm, say A1, lever arm A1. This is your lever arm A1. So now I can write the bending moment or the moment of resistance of this is either it is F into A1 or it is C into A1. Am I right, sir? Now to resist this much bending moment, M1, I will call it as M1. Okay, to resist this M1 bending moment, okay, your C force starts shifting up, okay, developing a lever arm A1. Okay, so now I can write M1 is equal to F into A1 or equal to C into A1, because F and C are equal. Now assume that I am applying still more load, in sense I have increased the load. I have increased the load further. So now bending moment at this cross section is now different. It will increase now. So to resist this increased bending moment, again your C force will start shifting up, developing a new lever arm. This is C. This is your new lever arm A2. I will call it as A2 is your new lever arm. Okay. So now I can say that your M2, the new moment of resistance or the new bending moment, is resisted by this couple, F into A2 or C into A2. Am I right, sir? Now, okay. So now, this is how the moment is resisted in case of your precious concrete. Okay. So assume that this is now, I'm going to increase still further the load. Further load is now increased. So now again your C force will go up. Okay, it starts acting here now. C force, developing a new lever arm A3. This is new lever arm A3, and now I can write M3 is equal to F into A3 or C into A3. Okay, this is how, in a sense, now what happens is now At every change in the loading, okay, your C force starts shifting up, developing the new lever arms. Okay, that is how it resists the this thing now. It resists the moment or the loads. Okay, this is what happens in case of your precious concrete beam. So now, what happens? Try to understand now with the same concept. Now I will try to explain you now here now. Okay, if I take the end cross section, Baba, assume that some load is there now, some load is now acting on the beam. Okay, so at the end cross section, bending moment is 0, so your C force will exactly coincide with your CGS or your or with your F line or with your steel. It acts here now. Suppose if I take this cross section, but at this cross section, bending moment is there now. Am I right now? So your C force, in sense of goes up, it acts here now. So now join this point and this point. Okay, you will get a curve. Am I right now? Now I will go to this cross section now. Okay, at this cross section, the bending moment is still high. Am I right now? So your C force will act somewhere up here now. Okay, say here. Okay, so now this point, this point you join now, you will get a curve. Okay, again if I take the uh, central cross section, Baba, central cross section has got highest bending moment. Okay, so now again your C force will act here now. Okay, C force will act here. So now here you will see that now I will join this point, this point, this point. Okay, so now similarly, if I join all these points where and all your C force is now acting, Baba, I will get one curve, something like this, a curve I will get. Am I right now? This is the line on which your C force is acting everywhere now at different cross section. Okay, if I join all these points smoothly, I will get a curve, and this curve or this line we call it as pressure line or thrust line or C line. Okay, because C force is now acting along this, so it is called either a pressure line or thrust line or C line. Okay, Baba, now that is how in sense that is what this concept says. In sense, now pressure line or thrust line or C line, in a sense, depending upon the bending moment acting, okay, on the beam, the C force goes on dancing. Okay, if the bending moment is more, it will act up. If the bending moment is less, it acts down. It starts dancing. Am I right now? That is the concept of now pressure line. See now, if I have to draw the pressure line or C line, okay, for UDL, it looks parabolic like this. Suppose now there is a this thing, okay sir, now in which a point load is now acting. Say for example, I have got this thing now here. Now a point load is now acting. Okay, so now assume that this is your cable line or your this thing. Okay, now in this case, if at all I want to draw the pressure line or C line, Baba, you will get a triangle. From here to here, it will go like this. Again, it will come back here. Now it looks like a triangle. This is your C line. C line or pressure line or thrust line. Oh, sir, no? So now, in case of a point load, okay, your pressure line looks like a triangle. In case of UDLs, okay, it looks like a parabola. Okay, so now this is something called pressure line or thrust line or C line. Okay, thank you very much, my dear friends. Thank you.